Red alert. The battle stations.
You guys are in you guys are in a mood today. It's a fun mood today. Yes.
Well,
Yeah. Welcome back to the
I
Lovecraft
am
Easing
taking
podcast.
my special gummies. So
No kidding. Let's see the tattoo, Pete.
all right, so this is why I wasn't allowed to be here last week. I got a green syringe tattooed on my
Towards the
thumb.
middle. Towards the middle. There you go.
I can't turn that way. There we go.
Not allowed? Who didn't allow you?
Well, it was tough. I was still healing up. I didn't know when I was going to get back, and
Yeah.
it didn't take as long as I thought.
Yeah.
So,
all right.
Anyway.
So, yes, welcome everyone. Welcome live people watching live. Welcome people watching later. People listening later. Everyone. You know who you are. So, if you are watching live, tell me you can hear us. So, I invited Chaz today, and he was excited about it, and now he's not here.
Weird.
So,
He sent me an email earlier, or a text.
it's weird that he
He's
sent you a
always
text.
excited and happy.
Yeah.
I know, he makes me feel younger. So,
I'll text him.
yeah, you do that. I did too. Well, why don't we do introductions, and then Pete wants to talk about the
Pete doesn't-
Lovecraft Easing film, not Lovecraft, the HP Lovecraft Film Festival. So,
I do.
I do.
Matt,
I'm
sorry.
now. Which
My
means
back
Pete
is
sent me all of his books.
my back is killing me, so I can't even think. Matt, introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Matt Carpenter. Currently, I'm running the Lovecraft Easing movie night. This week, we are voting on films, and we have come to the crux where we're going to pick some kind of Stuart Gordon or Stuart Gordon knockoff film to show. So if you want to look on the Lovecraft Easing Facebook page, you can vote and help us choose between Castle Freak or Reanimator or something like that.
Facebook group.
Yeah. Now, normally I give away
Pete
a
has a
prize,
vote.
but Mike has a copy of Laird Barron's book to give away. Not a speck of light.
I was gifted, and I was emailed by a Patreon who's donating this.
So if you want to win this, like I had already announced something, but I got to change the announcements now. Thanks a lot. We'll just defer my prize till the following week. But if you want to win this week,
check your email once in a while.
From you?
Yeah.
Okay, so send an email to easingprizes@gmail.com and put Barron, Barron, in the subject line. We draw a winner in about 6 or 8 weeks. Maybe it'll be you.
Maybe.
You can't win if you don't enter.
You can't win if you don't play. Thank you, Matt. Just want to mention that. Never mind. I'll say this in a minute. Bridget.
Oh wait, before Matt goes. Wait, I'm sorry, Bridget. But before Matt ends, how come whenever I'm watching Reanimator, whenever my family come home, it's always that one scene?
That's
why does the phone always ring when you're in the bathtub?
That was why when you drop your bread, it always falls butter side down. I mean,
why is the most brilliantly diabolical criminal of our time surrounding himself with complete nincompoops?
Okay, Mr. Luthor.
Sorry, I'm late, Mr. Luthor. Yes, I was just talking
Bridget,
about
I couldn't let it go.
No,
Go,
important
Bridget.
Reanimator comment. I don't want to get in the way of that. Anyway, hello everyone. I'm Bridget, composer, artist, producer.
Dun dun dun. Dun. And thank you.
And what have you produced?
By the way, thank you to Alan Smolling, who is donating that Laird Barron book.
Whoop, whoop.
So, and it's got what do you call the insert with Laird's initials? Laird's signature.
Book plate.
It's not quite a book plate, but yeah, close enough.
Okay.
So thank you, Alan.
Yes, it's a book plate.
We'll say it's a book plate.
Thank you, Matt.
Alan, Alan Hughes this time.
Alan Hughes. I'm a artist, and I work on the Easing movie and video game page.
and I really appreciate it too. Pete, last but not least, Pete.
No, I'm least. Pete Rollick, writer, director, producer, book hound, book collector, fighter of fires, man about town.
So Matt wants to talk about the film festival's Kickstarter because it's ending in just a few hours. So if you're not watching live, this probably isn't for you, but
Oh, this is for everybody because you can. The Kickstarter has like about 4 or 5 hours to go. This is if you wish to buy a streaming pass. It's a great way to support the entire film festival, even if you can't go. If you can go, it's a great way to buy your ticket. If you miss the Kickstarter, you can still get a ticket by showing up at the film festival and buying one at the door. It's worthwhile because the guest of honor is Aaron Moorhead. And if you remember, he is half of the duo that gave us movies like The Endless. His partner is Justin Benson. He's going to be screening. They're going to show a resolution, and he's going to talk about it. So that's pretty exciting. The poster is by Nick Gucker, and Liv Rainey Smith is doing a special woodcut for a print that you can get. There are all kinds of add-ons you can add. It's just a good time. It's October 4th to 6th, so coming up in about 2 weeks. You can still get a hotel room. I'm sure there are passes available, but if you don't want to get a pass, why don't you just check out the Kickstarter and maybe order a screening pass?
And you're right, this is for everyone because even if you miss the Kickstarter, you can go get that pass.
And if you miss this, you can still go get a screening pass from them online later. It's no big deal.
Right.
Screening weekend, I think, is October 22nd. I don't have the exact date.
You're going to the film festival.
I'm sorry, the streaming weekend is October 22nd. The film festival itself is the 4th to the 6th
of October. You're going, right?
Yeah, I'm going to be representing for the e-zine, hiding in a corner eating pizza and trying to get people to not talk to me.
All right. Well, please remember that I try to make some small living at this when you're representing the e-zine.
Okay, I'll put out a hat.
All right. Hey, Mr. Chaz, you made it. Yeah. Greetings.
Yeah, sorry, I was a little late. My wife gave me a honey-do list.
Oh, I wouldn't want to get in the way of that. So we just did introductions. Do you want to introduce yourself?
Sure. I'm Chaz Mena, and I'm an actor by trade, and I'm an amateur writer. And I produce film, independent film, and there's somebody working, cutting some limbs in the back. So if it ever gets too loud, well, I'll just hit that mute button. And I live in Miami, Florida, in the medieval state of Florida, with along with Peter Rollick, who makes it a lot more enlightened. And I'll shut up now. Hi.
Well, Pete was just all over the state apparently for the past 3 days. So, and you bought a bunch of sci-fi and horror books. You want to talk about that?
Yeah. So, I don't know how this works, but my wife had to use some points to get 3 nights at a hotel so that she could maintain status. Does that make any sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So it's like, go and do whatever you want at a hotel for 3 days.
Whatever you want.
Yes.
All right.
So I, of course, chose to hit bookstores. And I found some great stuff this weekend, and most of it's up at the Arkham Book Exchange on the Facebook page. Like I found I think every Dark Shadows book, novelization. I found a whole bunch of Casca the Warriors. I found some Lovecraftian stuff, including an old issue of The Unspeakable Oath. I found an Adam Niswander signed that I put up there. Some really nice
That's
stuff.
awesome. He was such a great guy.
He was. One of the coolest things I found was this book called The Mummy.
Let me put you on the screen here. Go ahead.
Yeah, it is a treatise. It's fat. From originally published in 1893, republished in 1925 in Cambridge, a handbook of Egyptian funerary archaeology. And it's just a really cool thing. Like, here's a whole section on the cartouches for all the various pharaohs of Egypt that they had known at the time. There's a section on how to make protective amulets. What should be in a grave and what shouldn't. There's a brief lexicon of hieroglyphics.
In other words, this is a book that we all should have in our homes.
I'm currently writing a book about books set from like 1920 to 1928. And this book is going to show up in that book.
So you're keeping it. You're not selling
I'm going to keep it for a little bit and use it for what I need to use it for. And then I will send it out into the world.
What do you think it's worth?
Sounds
pretty rare.
Yeah, I think it's worth $100. I know I paid cash for it, and it was under the table. A lot of these used bookstores, particularly in flea markets, like if you pay cash, they don't have to track, tax and pay the piper, so you can get stuff cheap.
Yeah, for those who don't know, Pete's got a Facebook group called Arkham Book Exchange, sorry. And you can buy and sell books, and Pete frequently posts the books for sale that he gets on these trips.
Yeah.
So
Pete,
yeah.
Forgive me for asking an obvious question, but I know you're an amazing book hound, but how much of this is because Florida is Florida just a good book state because of all the retired and older people?
Actually, I think Chaz and I might agree with this. Florida is a terrible book state.
Okay.
There are the major metropolitan area of Palm Beach, Broward, and Dade has a dearth of bookstores. There's very, very few.
I just thought there might be a lot of books that end up in estate sales.
Sometimes, yeah.
Yeah, sometimes. But a lot of what I have seen is that, the bigger bookstore, like the biggest bookstore in Florida is in Jacksonville, which is at the complete other end of the state for us. And I went there on Saturday. It was a 6-hour drive.
What's it called? Sorry.
The Chamblin Book Mine. Imagine if you took a Kmart and you just wrapped it with shelves that violate fire code and build it from floor to ceiling. And then bought the buildings next door and did not have parking. And yes, there's a bathroom, but they won't give you directions. So yeah.
That's a lot of books.
It is. It's huge. It's fun. But you got to make a commitment, because also, like, I don't know why lots of bookstores in Florida don't have sufficient AC. But yeah, Alan, to get back to your question, where I would think that there would be 20 to 30 bookstores between here and Miami, I think that, and I'm talking used bookstores, I think that there might be 4. And then to continue on that direction, where I do find a lot of stuff is at library resale shops. So people donate to libraries, and then the libraries have resale shops. And
yeah,
Yeah.
I was about to say I've amassed a couple of really good books. I bought a couple of Joe Hill books just last month, in the $1 and $2 rack, which is like amazing.
Yeah.
To this point, it seemed to me that it was easier finding secondhand books in Iowa than it is in Texas. A couple times a year, Planned Parenthood would have this huge warehouse, books everywhere. It was heaven. And and also garage sales, you could find books up north, but I don't really find them here. Sometimes, but not much. But yeah.
But Alan, there are a few clusters like in just north of Melbourne. There's a flea market with a bookstore in it on I-95. Then if you go 3 blocks east, there's a bookstore. And then if you go over to A1A on the island, there's a bookstore. And they're all pretty much in a row on the same road or a couple blocks off of it.
Pete,
But then there's nothing else for miles.
Igor wants to know, have you ever been to Bright Light Books in Orlando?
I was there yesterday afternoon at 4 o'clock. So yes.
That is a very precise answer to that question.
And there's a reason that there's a very precise. We finished up in Jacksonville at 2 o'clock and realized that we could make Bright Lights by 4 o'clock. So we, so it's from Jacksonville to Orlando is 2 hours. And the reason that's important is because Bright Lights stopped accepting books for trade at 5 so that they can close by 8. So yes.
Well, it sounds like you had a fun few days.
I did. I had a fun few days. Not as fun as it used to be. I've quit drinking for a little bit. Nothing.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's my endocrinologist changed my meds, and the new med is highly impacted by alcohol.
Yeah.
And I can still, they tell me I can still drink, but there are some side effects, and not drinking has sort of made those side effects go away.
Well, as Tom Waits said, I'd rather have a bottle in front of me than a frontal lobotomy.
Frontal lobotomy? I'd rather have the frontal lobotomy.
So if you're watching and listening and you're new to this podcast, sometimes we have guests, horror writers and other creative horror people and genre people, and sometimes we don't, and we like to chat about all things horror and books and just have a good time. Somebody told me, well, I was interviewed by Nick Boddick the other day. It won't be up for a couple of weeks, I don't think, and he said that he listens to a lot of podcasts, but this is a compliment for you guys. He said that this is the only podcast he's listened to that it feels like he's hanging out with friends. So I really loved hearing that. So
let me harp on something.
Yeah, please.
Last year I got really lucky. I found a first edition from the British of The Girl with All the Gifts.
Yeah.
Fabulous movie. Great zombie film. Great horror film. This weekend I found the sequel, also British, from the same publisher, The Boy on the Bridge. Sorry. Why am I pissed off?
Why? Because you're sober?
No.
They don't match.
They don't match.
They do that to piss off book collectors.
Yeah. Right? Why? Why?
I could see me doing that. If I was some publisher somewhere, I'd be sitting in my chair going, I'd make them like a quarter inch or a half inch difference in height. Not much, just enough.
I can see you doing that.
Yeah. Anyway, it ticks me off. I mean, they're both good books, but
I know what you mean. Like these genre books that Scott Nicolay translated, they're so cool because they're all the same.
Yeah.
Or, style.
They fit
size.
nice on the shelf. They look pretty.
Yes, they look pretty. That's exactly it.
What's
Hmm?
There's a song. Bridget, help me out. Be quiet, look pretty. It's a pop song.
Why are you
Anyway.
asking Bridget?
Be quietly.
No, it's about I think it's about guys talking to girls, and like.
Yeah, that's women love being told that.
If
No,
it's a
yeah,
pop
yeah.
song, I probably don't know it.
Okay. Anyway.
Yeah. So.
Oh, unfortunate.
Uh,
If it's an old song,
From a Broadway show.
it's an old classic rock song. I might.
Is it?
Okay,
I
where's-
don't.
it doesn't ring a bell.
All right.
Well, Peter, from my literary soiree here, Coombe Barbecue, I guess I have to close the bar. We'll have Diet
All right.
Coke, and,
So I am going to try to drink a glass of sangria tonight and see what happens.
oh, good.
Wait, didn't you have to work tomorrow?
I have to work from home tomorrow.
Oh, okay. Work from home.
Yeah. Work from home. Yeah. Kelly's new book is available for pre-order. It's called A Distant pre-order on Kindle. I'm not sure if the print is available for pre-order yet. I texted him, but I haven't heard back yet. And here's the cover. Got it right here. That's if anyone can see it because it's on my phone.
Oh, it's gorgeous.
Yeah.
It's a really cool cover.
Yeah.
So
And
I'm guessing it's a werewolf novel, but I'm not sure.
you would be correct. I've read it, and look. Kelly's a good friend, but I also say he's a very talented writer, which is a side of him I'd not really seen much of until for the last couple of years. He's been doing a lot of writing, and
Well, so he's been script writing for decades.
oh sure, yeah.
But he had this sort of epiphany a couple of years ago that said, let's turn some of this stuff into, if it's not going to be made into a film, let's turn it into the novels.
Yeah, there are
Right.
certain scenes from The Secret Language of Spiders that, like, you think when they're happening in the book, I'm thinking this would look really cool on TV or on the big screen.
As a matter of fact, years ago, Kelly sent me a screenplay, an early version of this, and it evolved from that. But yeah, the secret language of spiders, his latest book is amazing, and YouTube is giving me crap here, so I hope everyone can see us and hear us. Okay. A Distant Silver Melody looks like they can. A Distant Silver Melody. I wasn't sure. It's kind of a werewolf meets The Most Dangerous Game, which going in, and it wears its influence on its sleeve, and I mean that in the best way. And I wasn't sure if this is something I would enjoy, but I did. There are a lot of surprises and twists in this book that I didn't see coming, and it is very much worth the read. It's very, very good. So
I'm planning to read it in October. It's going to be one of my October reads. Speaking of October reads, because it's coming up, it's give you a week to prepare. Remember, A Night in the Lonesome October is something that you could read one chapter a day through the month of October. Or you could listen to Roger Zelazny's recording.
Yeah.
I love that we live in an age where we.
Wonderful, Bridget.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I love it that we live in an age that we can actually hear writers read their own works, and even after they're dead.
So one of the things when I had tested out of composition for college English. So instead I took English Literature, a survey, which is the course for English majors. And in the second semester, the teacher was an enthusiast of the British poets, and he had a recording, the only known recording of Alfred Lord Tennyson reciting "Charge of the Light Brigade."
Oh wow!
I've heard it. Yeah, it's it's very declamatory type of thing.
And then the other thing he had was the only known recording of Robert Browning, which was it was all it was the I guess the person making the recording asked him his name, and he said, "My name, sir, is Robert Browning." So that's really cool. So we got so much more now. We get our authors, but you can go back and listen to Alfred Lord Tennyson.
You can really pick out how vibrato was so important because the mass media back then was, halls, lecture halls and stuff, and they had to project, to the back of the wall. And one of the ways you do this is by fibrillating your vowels.
Apparently, when he would recite poetry for Queen Victoria, she would just go crazy.
I got a little distracted because of the YouTube having problems. It's smoothed out now, it looks like. But let me read the book synopsis for A Distant Silver Melody. It's only $2.99, by the way, and it would be very encouraging for Kelly if you guys didn't wait till it was out, if you went ahead and pre-ordered the Kindle, if you're a Kindle person. It's also going to be on Kindle Unlimited, it looks like. You've just been invited to join a very exclusive club. Members are vetted very carefully. Only the wealthiest are allowed in, only those with the proper causality. They get together yearly to celebrate their good fortune and participate in the great hunt. Their targets are always monsters, murderers, child rapists, the worst society has to offer. But this year promises to be different because this year they're hunting a real monster. So, as I said, if you hear all that and think you're just going to get a second-rate version of the most dangerous game, it's an amazing read. So, and it's on Amazon for pre-order.
Sounds like the Pickwick Papers, but with monsters.
All right, you just watched a documentary, Bridget, on Alien, and you wanted to talk about that.
Yeah, I just watched it. It's not a new documentary. It was done in 2019, but it's called Memory: The Origin of Alien. And it's free to watch on Prime right now, which is why I watched it. So it was really good. Talked about, of course, the backgrounds of a lot of the people that worked on it, but it directly mentioned, deliberate references to Lovecraft and inspiration from Lovecraft. And so that was kind of cool. I think a lot of us have surmised, but for it to blatantly say that, yes.
Is there any more you can say about that from the documentary? Or was it?
Well, I think the fact that Giger was into Lovecraft is not really a question.
Yeah.
But yeah, just the references to finding some ancient civilization and, maybe exploring farther than we should have and whatnot. Direct inspirations from Mountains of Madness, particularly, and some stuff like that. So I thought it was a pretty good documentary. I mean, that was just a very small part of it, but it was very interesting.
And then, so Prometheus, what Ridley Scott was wanting to say, explain Alien. Is that fair to say? With Prometheus? What do you guys think?
I don't know. Maybe just trying to show the background or the backstory. The villain origin story, I guess. But I don't know. I thought Prometheus was okay, but I didn't necessarily need to know the backstory of the creators of the alien and all that. So maybe that's an unpopular opinion, but
sometimes less is more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you guys may know this, but I just stumbled across it recently. The scenes that did not make it to the theatrical version of the film, but were in the screenplay, when they find the alien and he has a 2-minute conversation with them, and then he tears David's head off, as a result, and kills Wayland as well, I think, uh, if memory serves. And Pete, have you heard this? Do you know what I'm talking about? Okay.
You're talking about the translation?
Yeah, their conversation. So basically, Wayland says to David, the AI, the robot, whatever, says, translate what I say to the engineer. And he says, this man wants to live forever. That's why he's come. And the engineer says, why? Why is he deserving of this? And Wayland says, well, you're a god, I'm a god, because I created David, and, narcissistic conversation ensues from him. And then the engineer says, your species is not worthy of eternal life. We don't even give that to ourselves. And then he says, and this is the really interesting part. He said, you're a barbaric. Well, I have it right here, actually. Give me a second. Yeah, here we go. Your kind is not worthy of this. What makes you think I shall give you this prize? Tell me why. And then Shaw says, why do you hate us so much? Remember that part? And what the engineer says is, hate, we gave you this emotion. We gave you all emotion. We had expected not of your evolution. We took care of you, gave you fire, built your structures. We gave you Eden. You worshipped us. We praised our creation from above. But we watched you time and time again kill each other and start wars. We came back and saved your souls, but we left you to make your own fate. But your kind is a barbaric, violent species. We tried once more to save you. We took a mother's child back to paradise and educated him, taught him the meaning of life and creation. We put him back in Eden, Earth, to educate your kind. But your kind decided to punish him, crucified him, in other words. We gave you the fruits of life, and you repay us by leaving it to rot. And so from the engineer's point, it's a total justification. It's like, we created you guys, and you guys are a barbaric race. And by the way, thanks for showing up, because I'm going to start with you guys destroying the human race. So I don't know. Maybe they cut it out because it just might offend a lot of people.
Maybe because it's claptrap. I mean, the thing is, oh, we're so benevolent and smart. Here, let me rip your head off.
Yeah.
I mean, fuck that. The whole movie I had problems with. It's not very good. It stinks. Who's kidding who?
The new one, Romulus, was much better.
I'm so sorry I missed that.
Yeah, well,
but let's remember, Prometheus is a Christmas movie.
It is.
It is. There's a Christmas tree on the.
Yeah.
Bridge.
Yeah, they throw Hans Gruber off the side of the ship. It's amazing.
All right. I'm sensing a lack of interest in discussing this. So
I just have so much problem with these movies that purport that there was someone who seeded creation throughout the galaxy.
Like Star Trek.
Yeah, that's like, I really, that storyline just sticks in my craw. The only one that I even liked a little bit, but that was 2001: A Space Odyssey, when they altered the minds of the humanoid precursors.
I'm reading a book right now called Ripe, where
is that about old laundry?
No.
Okay, there's a short story about laundry that is really disturbing.
There is? Really? What's the title?
Oh, I can't remember. I heard it on a No Sleep episode, but it's like the laundry grows and grows and turns into a monster. It's like the adult version of Clara didn't take the trash out. Yeah, it's amazing. Anyways, side quest.
This book, the aliens, apparently 70,000 years ago, or whenever it was, made the consciousness revolution happen. You know what I'm talking about?
It's called some people refer to it as the Great Leap Forward. It was somewhere between, probably modern humans probably arose as remotely as 230,000 years ago, but the evidence of language and culture doesn't start showing up till 70 to 80,000 years ago, particularly starting in southern Africa.
Became self-aware, in other words.
Well, no,
one way.
it has to do with the development of language.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but it's just like what made Alien so great was that it drew upon mythology and the human experience that we know innately. Like we didn't need it explained to us because it was so referential of just humanity and mythology. So then when you're trying to create like, no, it's this new mythology, you're kind of depriving how it played upon our known experience as humans when you're just trying to explain it and make it something else.
It's
well said.
What my partner and I have written a couple of screenplays, and luckily they've been produced. So I hope that continues. But I went to a lecture given by Corey Mandel, and he comes out in Film Courage. You can probably look this up. His first gig was with Ridley Scott, and he learned how to pitch. And one of the things that Ridley Scott would ask is, what is the film about? And so Carell, who had written this screenplay for college, started to talk, really just a synopsis. Well, a girl is lost in the woods and chances upon blah, blah, blah. And he goes, no, let me stop you. I don't need the synopsis. You've written it here. What's the film about? And then he thought, oh, okay, premise. Well, the premise is, what if you're lost in the wood? He goes, that's not what I need. I don't need the pitch line. I don't need the premise. I don't need a synopsis. What is the film about? And he goes, I can't answer your question. He says, think about it and come back tomorrow. And this, hinged upon him getting a gig to be on his writing staff. And he called his old professors and said, well, I don't know what he means. And then one guy said, no, that's simple. The reason why you wrote the script. And he went, oh, okay. So he came back the next day and he said, I just think my film's about, it's a big leap of faith to trust a stranger. And he goes, yes, that's what I want. And so I don't know. I mean, having remembered that and having rewatched some of Ridley Scott's films, I've seen lamentably Napoleon lately. I've seen what he means by that. So it's kind of hit or miss, because if you're writing a script based on a truism or on something that you've learned, sometimes that doesn't translate, So I think that's why, he probably borrows from mythologies, because those truisms and those lessons have been universalized by now, right? Whether it's Prometheus or what have you in other Greek myths that he's tried to channel. So I posit that view that, in my humblest opinion, because who the fuck am I, opining on Ridley Scott? But I kind of feel like it's hit or miss sometimes, dare I say, and I hope he doesn't watch us, because we'll send ads over.
I'll guess that he doesn't, but
so in my mind, Alien works because it turns everything around. We think of ourselves as top dog, top predator, and our technology works for us. In Alien, everything turns around and we become the hunted, and and if there's anything Lovecraftian about it, it's the fact that our big brain is not going to save us. We've ventured out into the universe and we are prey.
Right. So you'd have to whittle down to watch your hubris, or your hubris
no longer the apex predator.
Right.
And Alien wasn't the first and only movie to do that. It's right after we began the space age.
Right. Prometheus fails because it fails as a Lovecraftian movie, because it basically says, yes, the universe still revolves around you. We just don't happen to like you. and so we're going to wipe you out.
Excellent point.
It takes that whole prey out and says, okay, there's a reason that we're going to do this. It's because we don't like you and we're going to destroy you. So it makes us again the center of the universe rather than just an aside.
As a matter of fact, another thing the engineer says is we've seeded, short version, we've seeded thousands of worlds, and yours is the only one that made it. In other words, once again, putting humanity at the center.
There's if you and Alan, we've both read, and Bridget too, we've read the Alien comic books that came from Dark Horse. And one of the great things that you see in these comics is you see the aliens on other planets infecting other species. We are not special.
So, hey, Pete.
Yes, very akin to the Borg as well. Of just, going to other worlds, assimilating them. Like, we're not special.
Well, that's like the thing.
Yeah.
So Pete, have you ever watched the movie The Naked Prey?
Yes.
Okay, so this is a movie. If you've not seen it, it's actually brilliant.
Terrific.
It's a movie from the 1960s, and essentially, it probably is going to sound offensive, okay, but like these white hunters go on safari in Africa, and they've got all their rifles and modern technology and their modern civilization and sophisticated language, and they offer an insult to one of the native peoples. And the result is they all get killed in horrible ways that they can't do anything to stop. And the one person who had shown some respect has given the opportunity to try to escape.
Victor Mature played him.
Doing a great job. He basically is that he's given a head start, as about 6 to 8 of the best warriors are going to chase him down and kill him. And so he's got nothing but his wits and his feet. And it's just, the whole movie is going like 100 miles an hour. It's really brilliant.
It was produced by Victor Mature. He was the lead, and he actually produced it.
I did not know that.
Yeah, I don't know who wrote it. That's my homework tonight.
But that's like another thing where like you don't have to go into outer space to get that same experience, that like everything and all your sophistication doesn't matter an iota.
Yeah, it's a story of Hernando de Soto. Out of how many people did he? I mean, he walked through the southeast and went into the southwest, and that's why it's called out of Arizona, and only 3 made it back. 3, if I'm right, I may be wrong. I don't know, but the Spanish at that time thought that they were the apex of human culture, with the most just laws, with the most efficient monarchy, the best and trained and armed army and what have you, the largest ships and blah 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 blah.
But you guys are right. Prometheus, with that speech, tries to fit it into Christian mythology instead of staying Lovecraftian as Alien was. PhD&D is his handle here on the live chat, makes a good point. Without the engineer's speech, however, it could be that humans are insignificant. What if they created millions of species? So, which is a good point. So, without that speech in the theatrical version, he just wakes up and goes nuts and starts killing them. Well, not goes nuts, but starts killing them, starting with Dave.
Which would be great.
Yeah.
I still didn't want a connection, though, to be honest. I
No.
didn't want a connection between, having them create all these species or whatever. Like, the science behind it was cool. I did like that about Prometheus, where they kind of explained whatever the host is going to affect how the alien becomes, and how they really dove into that. I did like that part of Prometheus. I just didn't want the connection.
I wonder if like an alien popped out of me, would it like go sit on the couch and pop a beer?
Oh man, you gotta watch Romulus. You remember the end of Romulus, the alien there, Bridget and Alan?
That alien was
When we
freaky.
watched that,
Yeah.
Uncanny Valley stuff to the
Mhm.
max.
Romulus is making a big revival of Prometheus. It's people are discussing those movies a lot more now. It's kind of the opposite effect, probably. A lot of people wanted to forget those two movies, but Romulus is bringing them back.
Jazz?
Can I make an erratum? It wasn't Victor Mature. It was Cornell Wilde.
Right.
Cornell Wilde. So sorry, guys.
Oh, no worries. Alan.
Also,
go ahead.
Chaz, the script for that film, 9 pages long.
Oh my God, it was a treatise.
Yeah.
A treatment.
Yeah.
Man.
I've got one last question about Prometheus. Were there, for the group, were the younger scenes of a younger Wayland ever released? Is that in any of the expanded cuts?
I don't know.
Because Guy Pearce was hired and they put him in old age makeup because they were going to do some younger scenes, but have those been released?
I haven't seen them.
Okay.
What Bridget was saying about not wanting to know kind of reminds me of DC Comics Rebirth, Alan, when Jeff Johns explains the origin of the Phantom Stranger. Wow, that pissed me off. Secret Orange.
When something leaves a vacuum and it allows you to make your own idea in your head, and then something comes out later that's like, no, this is the real idea. You're like, no, you left me room to come up with what this is about, and now you're telling me I don't want to know.
His name is the Phantom Stranger.
Yeah,
that's all you need to know.
Yeah, Spectre needs an origin, not.
Yeah. Did you? I do like Mr. E's origin, but anyway, yeah, that's another Trenchcoat Brigade.
They did 4 possible origins in the late '80s in the Secret Origins series. 4 possible origins of the Phantom Stranger, and they were all great stories. But they made it. The comic made it pretty clear that these are all just possible origins, just fun to read. But one of them might be right, none of them might be correct. So
it's nice to think of it as like, propaganda put out by himself. So
yeah, that's true.
It goes back to my idea is like, don't let the truth get in the way of a good story. If this story that I'm going to tell you about my origin gets you to do what I want you to do, then it's the truth. But this other story that I'm going to tell this guy is also true.
I think Neil Gaiman is one of the things he said. He said a lot of things. Is the story is the only truth.
Yeah.
Just okay. So you saw the movie The Cowboys, one of John Wayne's last movies, and the cook is telling a story to the young boys who are going out on this cowboy trip about how he was the son of an African prince and his mother was a queen and he was raised a warrior. And at the end of the story, one of the kids says, "Is that story true?" And he says, "If it's not, it should have been."
Yeah. So anyway, that's our alien discussion. There'll be a test.
Alan, we will never bring up this subject again.
Yeah, right.
Alan, you've seen the first episode of The Penguin?
Sure did.
And what did you think?
I really liked it. I know that there's some, and I think that's the consensus. Most people like it. It's very derivative of a lot of things. There's a lot of Tony Soprano in The Penguin. He's got an overbearing mother that's got dementia. He's not happy. Penguin is miserable.
Well, it's probably all that makeup that he's forced to wear in the fat suit.
But he acquires a protege, and I think it's very similar to Jason Todd, how he acquires that protege. And so we're going to see him rise through the ranks of Gotham City.
The protege is stealing the hubcaps off of his car.
Sure, you got it.
Nice.
So watch it. It's
I will. I think I just want to let a few episodes go by, so I'm not watching it week by week. So, all right, yeah.
I am actually watching the new Agatha Harkness series on Disney. I've watched the first episode. I don't know what all the complaining is about. I found it entertaining enough.
I watched that as well.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
It was Agatha all along.
She was the antagonist in
WandaVision.
WandaVision, which
started
off as a decent show and ended up like petering out. But she had a very popular, charismatic character. I don't know the name of the actress. She parlayed it into a TV commercial, and now they have given her her own series. I don't know if it's any good, but I watched the first episode and I enjoyed it. I think she's a fun actress.
It's Catherine Hahn.
Yeah, she's pretty good.
It's also got Aubrey Plaza, who's very popular right now.
Yeah, and it's a different role for her because she's not playing a deadpan smartass.
I don't know. I kind of liked the ending of WandaVision. I thought Pete does too, don't you?
Oh, come on. She was basically, everyone's feeling so bad for her, and where she tortured the town of all these people.
That part I agree with.
So why is she the good person? She's a monster.
Well, she's not. Did you not see Doctor Strange and the...
Yeah, I couldn't bear it. It was just, I watched like an hour of it and punted.
You're really playing that grouchy old man thing heavily.
Did you like it? Did you like the second Doctor Strange movie, or did you think it was kind of...
I thought it was kind of boring.
Secret ballot.
I mean, it's okay. It's eye candy. It's okay to watch once, but I wouldn't watch it twice. So,
yeah.
Agatha also has a slight Lovecraftian reference. It mentions the Darkhold.
Oh,
yes,
which is Marvel's Necronomicon.
Yep. And isn't Wanda reading that at the end of WandaVision?
Yeah, well, that's the whole. She's got control of it in Multiverse of Madness. So, yeah,
that's right. Yeah, I don't actually remember a lot of Multiverse of Madness, but just that. Is this a spoiler to say that she's the bad guy?
No.
Okay. All right.
Is self-advertising allowed for a second? I just got a text. Our last film called Bella, which I co-wrote, it's based on how my wife and I adopted our daughter, is going to be featured in the Puerto Rican Film Festival. So
nice. You just got that text?
Yeah, I got the text. Yeah, and
that's sweet.
It's going to premiere next week. So
sweet.
Congratulations.
Thank you. It'll be on the platforms soon. We have a couple of our films, HBO Latino, HBO, Hulu, and all the rest of it. But I'm proud of this one,
Yeah. Well, make sure you tell us when it's available to watch.
Oh, thanks, man. My daughter's like telling her friends, I have a movie.
Aw.
I have a movie that's it's called Bella. I just thought it was very funny. Anyway, sorry, I don't mean to be cute, but it's kind of cool.
That's great. Congratulations. So, what's everybody reading? I'm reading an interesting book called 1,000 Naked Strangers, which is nonfiction and subtitled "A Paramedic's Wild Ride to the Edge and Back." This guy becomes an EMT about 15, 20 years ago, and the crazy shit that actually happens is horrifying. I mean, it's a good book. I love it.
What's it called?
1,000 Naked Strangers.
Oh, I thought it was a website I frequent. Sorry.
By Kevin Hazard.
So I'm reading. We're doing this for book club. I'm rereading A Confederacy of Dunces by John Kennedy Toole. It was insanely farcically funny when I first read it decades ago, and it's not lost its power. I'm enjoying the hell out of it.
it's such a good book, and nobody would publish it, and the guy kills himself over it.
Interesting. When I first read it, we were living in Biloxi, Mississippi, and he committed suicide in a hotel in Gulfport.
Yeah.
Near a casino we used to go to for dinner.
Wow. No, it's just, yeah. It's
he finished writing it in 1969, right? And it was published in 1978 or something. Is that right?
About 1980-ish.
1980-ish. Well,
but maybe it was 78. I thought it was 1980, but I could be wrong.
No, I defer to you.
Why?
Because I haven't read it. I have it on my bookshelf.
What's everybody else reading? Anyone?
Still listening to the Audible of Pre-Approved for a Haunting. Haven't finished that one yet.
Oh,
but I'm
okay.
also listening to the podcast that's called Tanis.
Oh yeah.
And that's really interesting. I'm on sort of towards the beginning of season 3, and there was 5 seasons.
So wait, tell us about this Pre-Approved for Haunting.
That's Patrick Barb's anthology.
Yeah, we had him on the podcast.
Yeah,
about it.
Yeah, it's been a fun read so far.
You were here.
I'm listening to 3 podcasts.
Oh my gosh.
Because, I'm stupid. Into the 3rd season of the Lovecraft Investigations, which is a Shadow of Rainsmith related. That's pretty good. I just finished the Department of Midnight, which is Warren Ellis's thing. I just finished the episode 5. That's fun.
What's that about?
It's about a guy who used to be a physicist. He now considers himself a anomalist. He looks for anomalies, and he works for the department. Well, it's the Department of Experimental Oversight, but everybody calls it the Department of Midnight, because their symbol is a clock with with 2 hands going straight up and down. And it's about dark matter and people researching dark matter and letting in essentially demons. That the premise of the story is that dark matter is not information or anything like that. It's evil.
What is this again? What's the title of this again? I mean,
The Department of Midnight.
The Department of Midnight.
Yeah,
okay.
Department of Midnight.
So I'm going to interject that my current favorite physicist to listen to online on YouTube is Sabine Hassenfelder.
Oh yeah.
She was a particle physicist who got very disillusioned with the fact that most physics research is just BS. And so now she does YouTube videos about it and talks about dark matter and that kind of stuff. She makes it very understandable. She's got a fun approach, but also she's kind of irreverent.
What's her name again?
She's kind of cute. She's German, of German descent, I think. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, what's her name again?
Sabine Hassenfelder. Her YouTube channel is really worth checking out.
All right. Yeah, I've got to listen to that.
And the other one I'm listening to is called Last Known Coordinates, something like that. And it's about a plane that goes down and vanishes over the ocean, and the billionaire who's lost his wife and kid on the plane, who is going after it a year later to try and find it, and they're encountering essentially kaiju, which is pretty fun. So
yeah, Chaz, you're reading Brian Evanson. You're muted.
Yeah, sorry about that. I obnoxiously put it up in Glassy Burning Floor of Hell. I thought I'd start with an earlier book, actually 2021, and then I just got one that was published the same day or came out the same day as Barron's book, Larry Barron's
Good Night, Sleep Tight.
Good Night, Sleep Tight. Yeah. So
yeah, he's going to be on the podcast on Wednesday, you guys, if you're available and want to join me, Matt, or any of you. So but it's already on the YouTube channel, so everyone can go there and see. But it's let's see, 2:15 Eastern time,
Are
or
we
you can
still
watch
on?
it later.
Are we still on for evil?
Mm-hmm. We're gonna do a lot of evil, Matt.
You are evil.
That
Ton of
sounds
evil.
so random out of context.
Are we still on for evil? We are always on for evil.
What are we doing today?
Evil.
Same thing we do every day.
Same thing as always.
Take over.
Trying to conquer the world.
Yeah. So, anyone else?
I'm rereading Charles Grant's Universe of Horror trilogy for Halloween.
That's fun stuff.
Oh, nice.
Nice.
Yeah, that's fun stuff.
Is that Universe of Horror? Is that right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's 3 books. The first one is vampires, the second werewolves, and the third is
Mummies.
Yep. And I realized I'd never read the third book, so I've rereading the first 2 and reading the third.
There are a lot of really great answers on the Patreon. I asked a couple of days ago. I asked everyone what novel or story has creeped them out the most, in essence, and there's some great responses. So if you're a Patreon, check that out, and your TBR will grow even higher. So
There's, I find, I'm sure, since we're all really readers first, we're all readers here. It seems to me in this wonderful easy podcast, it seems like a lot of it is the context in which you're reading, not just the material. It's what you bring to the book, of course. And I don't mean to talking about truisms. I don't want to give another one, but I got so creeped out the second time I read The Fisherman, because the first time I read it, and it was like I would read it between on set, whatever, but this time I read it overnight in one sitting, and my girls were gone, and I was high on coffee, and it was a stormy night in South Florida, and I was scared shitless, man. It was like, what was that?
Oh, I totally agree. There's a big difference in, say, listening to a horror audiobook in the middle of the night than there is in your car at 3 p.m. So same with reading. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, there are a lot of great choices there, guys. Alan, you want to talk about the Nameless City game?
Yes,
and if you want to post that when you're done in the side chat, that'd be awesome.
Okay, yeah, the developer of the game, Nameless City, it's a 2-person team, and it's an adaptation of the Lovecraft story. It's really cheap on Steam. It's $5.99. It's a retro styled game, and it's just running through the city, a downward spiral. It adapts the game very well. A lot of very positive reviews on Steam. The narrator is excellent. The player's narrator, he should be doing audiobooks, Lovecraftian audiobooks, and some great music. I bought the score also. We were full disclosure given a code for the game, but I bought the soundtrack too. So I'll put the link in the side chat.
Yeah, thank you, and thanks for the
who
review.
wrote the soundtrack?
Yeah,
I don't know. I'll find that.
Cool.
Red Dragon is only $1.99 at the moment on Kindle. So,
hey, I'm sorry, Peter. I'm dumb.
Just because I'm not drinking doesn't mean anybody else. Look, I have nothing against drinking. It's just tearing my stomach up right now.
Wait. Wine out of a coffee cup? Dude.
I know, it was the only thing I could scrounge back here. But it looks like
just
coffee.
Drink out of the bottle.
Oh, that would be uncouth. But I'll tell you, if I didn't have any kind of receptacle, I would.
getting back to Brian Evanson for a second. man, he's definitely, he can definitely create that sense of dread. I'm reading, I'm in the middle of Good Night, Sleep Tight, and which is his new book, and he's an amazing writer, and he's got a hell of a lot of books out there. I mean, a lot. So, hi, Boulder.
That's Daniel.
Oh, sorry, Daniel.
He wants me to throw his zip tie.
Montag
No,
is right here.
I was about to say that I've been rather obsessed about him lately, and I've been watching a couple of interviews, and he was surprised when they called him, and he was a candidate for the Bram Stoker, I think, award. I think the Shirley Jackson, I don't recall right now, but he doesn't think he writes. He didn't know he wrote horror or anything remotely like it, or science fiction or anything, which is remarkable. It says a lot about him.
Yeah. You have to go in 5 minutes, Pete.
Yeah.
You should impart The Secret of Life or something equally wise before you go.
Be nice to each other, read a good book every once in a while, drink a bottle of wine every week.
And do evil.
And do evil.
We're gonna do evil, all right. Hey, well, I'm about to wrap up anyway, but for those who, it was my anniversary yesterday, so.
Yay.
Hey, happy anniversary.
28 years.
Happy anniversary.
Yeah, 28 years.
So, Mike, before we wrap up, can we talk about this?
Please do.
Because everybody should have read this by now. You bastards.
What is it?
It's what is it? It's just some stupid kids book I wrote, The Spontaneous Generation. It's the scariest kids book I've ever written.
My daughter's reading it,
and
it's illustrated by.
She loves it.
It's just this. It's just so back during COVID.
Yes, Bridget. Sorry, Pete. Go on.
Back during COVID, like all my stimulus changed, and like I was having really bizarre dreams. And you guys remember, I woke up one morning, I wrote it down, and I sent it to you guys. And that was what, 2019, 2020?
I wasn't there when you woke up.
No, but like 8 o'clock in the morning, you guys had all the text.
I do remember that.
Yeah, I did too. In the messenger. And we were all like, what the hell? That's awesome. Yeah.
So we turned it into this little illustrated kids book. It's sort of like Red Dawn meets The Village of the Damned. It's cute.
It's yeah. You should buy it, people. Give them the title again.
The Spontaneous Generation by Pete Rawlik and Heather Landry.
So Pete, all I can tell you is I just got my copy of the Cthulhu Heresy. So,
okay.
So I'm behind on my reading of you.
Everyone should be behind on their reading of me. I had delivered not one, but 2 collections this year already to publishers.
Cool.
So
yeah,
I'm going insane.
Yeah. Weird library, Bridget.
Yes.
Let's say, Bridget, are we still doing weird as well as evil?
Yes, obviously.
Do the weird. Say the weird thing.
Being weird. Yes, just quick shout out. Please go take a listen to The Weird Library, which I am now producing. It's got some really awesome stories, by some really amazing authors, some really great narrators, and a little bit of my hosting and music as well. So the newest episode has been up for a little over a week. I'm gonna drop another one this Thursday. I'm trying to get on an every 2-week schedule. So if you would care to go take a listen and a follow, and reviews and likes and all those things really help out. So appreciate y'all.
Yeah, they do. Help her to grow this, guys. Go take a listen and review it and whatever, all that good stuff. So
the last story was Maybe the Stars by Samantha Henderson, which is a really cool story in the Innsmouth tradition. So
yes, I bought that from her when I was doing the magazine years and years ago, and I was just blown away as soon as I read it.
Me too. So good.
Yeah.
You're probably too bashful to say, but I think you contributed the first story, and it was a terrific read.
Aw, thank you, Jazz. I'll be reading some more. Probably the one that comes out this week is going to be one of my narrations. So.
All right. Well, if you're enjoying what we do, please join the Patreon so we can keep doing it. And you get a lot of extra episodes at just $5 a month. So, and I've had a few more recent people join the Patreon. I appreciate all you guys, as well as all of you who've been doing it for years.
And if you hate what we do, it's Matt's fault.
If you hate what we do, join the Patreon also.
But it's the biggest bang for your buck. I'm the new kid. I'm newish to the podcast, and I'm telling you, I'm getting so much return from those $5. I sound like I'm doing a commercial, which I used to do.
No, I appreciate it. We're gonna do John Langan Deep Background Part 2 Wednesday night, and I'll have it on the Patreon on Thursday, and then I'm interviewing Jeffrey Ford for the Patreon as well this week. So a lot of good stuff coming. So, all right. Well, join me on Wednesday, and whoever else wants to join me on Wednesday to interview Brian Evanson. And thank you for watching. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you then. Night.
Night.